Hi everyone, hello and welcome. If you're looking to prepare for GCP's Associate Cloud Engineer Certification exam, then you are at the right place. I'm Parvez and a customer engineer for Google Cloud. This video will introduce you to various resources that will help you successfully prepare and ace the exam. In a previous video, I spoke about Google Cloud Career Readiness Program and discussed some fundamental concepts on cloud and GCP. If you haven't watched it already, I would highly recommend you to search for Google Cloud Online Study Jam and watch the video to kickstart your learning. If you've already seen it, welcome back. It's time to go one step further and conquer your certification. With that, let's take a quick look at today's agenda. We'll start off by answering the most important question. Why are certifications so important and what role do they play in shaping your career? We'll also be learning some key concepts on GCP that will help you better prepare for the exam. Please grab a pen and paper for this section if you want to take down some notes. We'll also take a quick look at some of the practice questions. Now, these questions have been designed to help you get accustomed to the kind of questions that you can expect in the actual exam. And finally, I'll show you how to schedule your exam and get help when you're stuck. Alright, let's get started. So, why are certifications so important? Certifications are essential to validate an individual's mastery and competency of a given technology. As a student, you would like to present yourself as the best prepared candidate a company could ever consider. And that's where certifications play a vital role. They help you showcase that you can contribute positively to the overall success of the organization. By getting certified, it not only helps you acquire proficiency in that particular technology, but also acts as a testament to your skills. Certifications also give you key competitive advantage in your career growth. From a learning and professional development perspective, certifications ensure that you're on top of current technical developments and industry trends. With that, let's talk a little bit about Google Cloud certifications. Why should you be Google Cloud certified? Now, there are multiple reasons to it. Being Google Cloud certified simply demonstrates to an employer that you possess the necessary skills to manage the various products and services on Google Cloud platform. Keep in mind, with significant advantages in big data processing and analytics at scale, Google Cloud is the fastest growing cloud. And whether you're just beginning your career in cloud or have experience with other cloud solutions, validating your technical skills by getting certified on GCP will help you demonstrate that you have the technical skills to drive business successfully in today's highly competitive market. Certification gives you tangible benefits as well. In an independent study of users who were certified for at least 6 months, recipients of Google Cloud certifications provided positive feedback about the impact of the certification. 80% of those who applied for a new job received at least one job offer. 1 in 3 certified users received a raise or acquired a job for higher pay. And 70% say Google Cloud certifications helped them to grow in their current job. Now, there are different Google Cloud certifications that are available. So, which certification should you get? If you have just started your learning path on GCP, Associate Cloud Engineer certification is the one for you. And this is exactly what I'll be covering in today's session as well. The ACE certification or the Associate Cloud Engineer certification assesses one's ability to plan, deploy, and ensure successful operation of a cloud solution. And there is a professional track as well. Now, the professional level certifications are great for individuals who are responsible for designing architectures and have to work with multiple business stakeholders on a daily basis. The professional level certifications don't just assess your technical knowledge on GCP, but also assess how you map business requirements to technical solutions using Google Cloud. With that, let's start talking about Associate Cloud Engineer certification. There are some amazing benefits that you unlock. Firstly, the Google Cloud certification helps you distinguish yourself from your peers. Your flaunting badge is simply an indication of this. The ACE certification helps you widen your network and exchange your ideas in the Google Cloud certified community. You can connect with your peers and Google's experts to learn about new services and the latest trends on cloud technology. But first things first, as I mentioned earlier, the Associate Cloud Engineer certification assesses your ability to plan, deploy, and ensure successful operation of a cloud solution. So navigate to the Associate Cloud Engineer certification page and thoroughly review the syllabus. If you're new to GCP and haven't watched our previous video, I would strongly recommend you do that to get some basic hands-on understanding of GCP. Simply search for Google Cloud Online Study Jam. As a next step, you can prepare for all the topics that we'll be discussing today using learning resources on Coursera. Don't worry, I'll be sharing more details on this in the later part of the video. And final step, take the practice exam. There is no substitute to practice and get your hands on experience by actually implementing the concepts that you study on GCP. This will help you unblock any questions you might have and help you prepare well. Alright then, it's time to take your career to the next level by becoming Google Cloud certified. Grab a pen and paper if you need to, as I'll be discussing some key concepts that will help you ace your ACE exam. So, in our first section on how to set up a cloud solution, you need to focus on 6 points. First, resource hierarchy is all about understanding and designing the structure for projects within your organization on GCP. Under resource hierarchy, you should have knowledge of organization node, folders, projects, and resources within GCP. Always remember, organization node is your parent node on GCP. Below your organization node, you have folders. And organizations typically use folders to group projects under the organization node. For example, your organization might contain multiple departments like finance, engineering, and each with its own set of Google Cloud resources. Folders allow you to group these resources on a per department basis. While a folder can contain multiple folders or resources within it, a given folder or resource can have exactly one parent. Next comes the projects. Think of a project as a virtual boundary within which all your resources are hosted. Continuing our previous example, let's say under the folder engineering, the team has set up multiple environments for development, testing, and production. To ensure clear segregation methods are followed, you would ideally create separate projects for development, testing, and production. And finally, the resources part. They include all products and services that are used to accomplish technical and business requirements. Moving on, let's talk about identity and access management. Always remember two things when it comes to IAM. First, IAM controls who needs what access and on which resource. And second, always follow the principle of least privileges when granting permissions. For example, when considering who needs what access and on which resource, who refers to the user or identity that is requesting for permission, and access refers to the kind of permission that a user needs on a particular resource. This particular thing is determined by rules. And finally, the resources part. Compute Engine virtual machine instances, Google Kubernetes Engine clusters, and cloud storage buckets are all Google Cloud resources. The organizations, folders, and projects that you use are also resources. Talking about APIs, every resource on GCP can be controlled by an API. Directly or indirectly, you will be accessing some service in your application. So you should have a fair knowledge on how you can enable the APIs. Talking about Stackdriver, this is your one-stop solution for all your logging and monitoring needs within GCP. One thing that you should be thorough about, the difference between logging and monitoring. Now, while logging allows you to store, search, and alert on log data and events within GCP, monitoring provides visibility into the performance, uptime, and overall health of cloud powered applications. It does so by collecting metrics, events, and metadata from GCP. So, get started, create a simple workspace, and understand this component. As you will be using the resources, you will be charged for them accordingly. So you should have a clear idea about how billing works on GCP. I'll be discussing about this in just a few minutes. Finally, the Cloud Shell CLI. For your certification exam, it is expected that you know how to install and configure the CLI, especially Cloud SDK. I've covered a detailed lab in my previous video as well. Please review it once and get accustomed to the different commands like gcloud, gsutil, etc. Alright, let's talk about the second module now. Planning is key to every project. Be it cost or which product to use, make sure you plan for the future. So, how do you calculate cost? GCP has a pricing calculator which is publicly available. You can access it by going to cloud.google.com/products/calculator. You will be asked to select a product and enter its estimated usage. And that's it. One click of a button, and you will have an estimated quote associated with the product. You can add multiple products to the quote and get an understanding of the overall cost of your project as well. Now comes the product selection strategy. Be it compute, storage, or networking, there are multiple products available. Selecting the right product for your solution is super important. Let's discuss this one by one. We'll get started with planning and configuring your compute resources for the project. GCP offers a wide range of options for all your computational needs. But how do you decide which is the best one for your technical and business requirements? Let's take a look. Few questions that can help you pick the right product. Are you looking to build a monolithic application? If yes, then pick Compute Engine. If you're used to managing virtual machines in your on premises environment or other clouds and want a similar experience on Google Cloud as well, then select Compute Engine. It offers scale, performance, and value so you can easily launch large compute clusters on Google's infrastructure. Compute Engine also lets you build preemptible virtual machines or tailor custom machine types to your specific needs. But if your application is containerized or microservice based, then select Google Kubernetes Engine. GKE is GCP's managed production ready environment for deploying containerized applications. If you want to focus on your code and avoid the infrastructure pieces completely, use App Engine. And finally, if you want to write simple single purpose functions that are attached to events emitted from your cloud services, use Cloud Functions. Let me summarize. Want to manage infrastructure and have a dependency on monolithic application? Pick Compute Engine. Microservice based application? Select Kubernetes Engine. Want to have no dependency on infrastructure? Use App Engine. And finally, Cloud Functions to run your applications in a serverless environment and for building and connecting cloud services. Now, when it comes to data storage, there are multiple options again based on your requirements. For all the object data like images, videos, and other files, use Google Cloud Storage. It's cheap, completely managed, and has native connectivity with other GCP products. If your requirement is to save and process relational data, you have two choices: Cloud SQL and Cloud Spanner. If you need horizontal scalability, go with Spanner. If not, Cloud SQL should suffice. Another key criteria is the volume of data being stored. If your requirement is to store terabytes of data, go with Cloud SQL. But if your requirement is to store petabytes of data, use Cloud Spanner. Now, as for non-relational databases are concerned, we have Cloud Firestore and Cloud Bigtable. While Firestore is great for document-based data, Bigtable is deeply integrated with the Hadoop ecosystem, including HBase API, and is great for time series like hybrid analytical processing applications. If the requirement is to store wide column store data, you can choose Cloud Bigtable. For your data warehouse use cases, select Cloud BigQuery. It is a serverless, highly scalable, and cost effective data warehouse. The advantage of using BigQuery is that you can query your data using simple SQL like queries. And finally, if you have a mobile application and need to manage data originating from that, select Firebase. Moving on to networking, the networking services on GCP are broadly classified into four categories: connect, scale, optimize, and secure. Services like Cloud VPN and Cloud Interconnect will help you connect your on premise resources to GCP and establish a secure channel between them. Cloud VPC provides global, scalable, and flexible network for your cloud based services. You can think of a VPC network the same way you would think of a physical network, except that it is virtualized within Google Cloud. Now, networking services like load balancing offer scaling up and down of backend instances based on the incoming traffic. Cloud CDN allows you to cache objects closest to the user, thereby reducing latency. The optimized networking services focus on customizing the network to optimize for performance and cost. Now, there are two variants within this: the standard tier and the premier tier. The standard tier uses regular ISP networks to deliver traffic, while the premium tier uses Google's premium backbone to deliver traffic. Always remember, use premium tier to optimize for performance and use standard tier to optimize for cost. Finally, services like Identity Aware Proxy and Cloud Armor ensure security and protect against any malicious activities and intruders. Moving on to our next topic, the implementation details play a vital role in learning cloud services. While deploying and implementing compute engine resources, you should know how to deploy the instances, instance templates, and instance group using both Cloud Console and Cloud SDK. Also focus on generating the SSH keys and managing the resource quotas. While you're at it, go through the process of configuring a virtual machine for Stackdriver monitoring and logging as well. On the other hand, for deploying and implementing Google Kubernetes Engine, understand the cluster creation process. You should also be familiar with deploying the container application to Google Kubernetes Engine. When it comes to deploying and implementing App Engine, Cloud Run, and Cloud Functions, understand the steps to deploy an application, updating scaling configuration, versioning, and traffic splitting. The best way to get an understanding of these concepts is to get some hands on experience. So go for it. To deploy and implement data solutions, familiarize yourself with the steps to initialize data systems and loading data for data storage options. To deploy and implement networking resources, practice the steps to create VPC, subnets, firewall, and configuring the resources within the VPC. Also, implement the load balancers for traffic management of all your applications. Now, to deploy a solution using Cloud Marketplace, first get an understanding of what Marketplace is. This will be easier in understanding the deployment section. Your knowledge of infrastructure as a service and platform as a service will be very handy here. And finally, learn how to deploy application infrastructure using Cloud Deployment Manager template. Now, in any project, once the implementation is done, the next big role is to ensure the day to day operations and managing of resources are successful. Let's talk about this in brief. To manage compute engine resources, you should know how to start, stop, and delete the instances. Also, understand the working of snapshots, images, instance groups, and management interface. To manage Google Kubernetes Engine resources, understand the working of nodes, pods, services, and container registry. If you need to understand more on this, please review the lab that I've covered in the Google Cloud Online Study Jam video. To manage App Engine and Cloud Run resources, you should know how to split and merge the traffic. Also, go through the scaling parameters for auto-scaling instances. To manage storage and database solutions, you should know how to move the objects to cloud storage and to transfer data between different storage classes. Remember, there are five storage classes: multi regional, regional, nearline, cold line, and the newly added one is dual region based. To manage networking resources, understand the process to add the subnets in the existing VPC, reserving the static IP, and expanding a subnet to have more IP addresses. For monitoring and logging, understand how to create Stackdriver alerts based on resource and custom metrics. Also, you need to understand how to configure log syncs to export logs to external systems. You will also need to understand how to view and filter logs in Stackdriver. Please create a sample environment and gain some hands-on experience in this particular domain. The last section and the most important section is managing the access control and security on GCP. Understanding identity and access management and security policy will help you configure the access and security for all your applications. Always remember, a service account is a special kind of account used by an application or a virtual machine instance and not by a person. Applications use service accounts to make authorized API calls within GCP. Cloud audit logs help security and compliance entities maintain audit trails within Google Cloud. With audit logs, your enterprise can attain the same level of transparency over all your admin activities as in an on premise environment. Let's take a look at this example to understand the security aspects on GCP. In large companies, the management of network and security resources such as firewalls are typically managed by a dedicated team, which is different from the development team. Now, the development teams may want the flexibility to launch instances and carry out other actions related to instances in their projects. Let us grant Bob at example.com the compute network admin role at the organization level and Alice at example.com the compute instance admin role on her project A. This will allow Alice to carry out any action on instances while preventing her from making any changes to the network resources associated with her project. Only Bob can make changes to the network resources both at the organization level and at the project level. Now you can prepare for all the topics that we have just discussed using Google Cloud curated learning resources on Coursera. We advise you that before you go for the exam, you complete the Architecting with Google Compute Engine specialization on Coursera. It will help you explore some advanced concepts on GCP and gain expertise in it. Once you're done with this specialization, the next step would be to complete the Preparing for Google Cloud Associate Cloud Engineer exam course on Coursera. This course has been specifically created to help you explore everything that you need to cover before your exam. To get hands on experience, we recommend you to complete the following quests and skill badges on a hands on training platform called as Quick Labs. The labs in these quests and skill badges will help you take the skills that you learned through the Coursera courses and apply them directly on GCP. You can surely go ahead and attempt the exam after completing all these quests and skill badges. Now, for those of you who don't know what skill badges are the next big thing on your path to cracking the certification exam. Skill badges not only help you apply the concepts that you learned, but they also test your knowledge through a challenge lab at the end. The challenge lab is a test that makes sure you have what it takes to use your newly learned skills in a real world scenario. You can even add these skill badges to your resume and your social profiles like LinkedIn to showcase the skills that you just gained. Alright, it's time now to check your readiness for the exam. Our certifications team has specifically created a small practice exam that you can take right away and see whether you have the necessary skills to pass the exam. Let me show you how to take the practice exam and then we'll discuss a few questions from the practice exam. As a first step, navigate to cloud.google.com/certification/cloud-engineer page. Once you land on the Associate Cloud Engineer Certification page, scroll down to step 3 and click on Take the Practice Exam. This will now take you to the page explaining the guidelines for the practice exam. Once you review the guidelines, click on Launch the Exam. A new tab with the practice exam will open up. If you have a candidate ID, select Yes. And if you have selected Yes, you will be asked to enter the candidate ID on the next page. But if you don't have one, just select No and click Next. On this page, enter your details like your first name, last name, etc. and click Next. This will take you directly to the practice exam. After attempting all the questions in your practice exam, you can review your scores as well. A detailed explanation of all the questions with the answers will be shown too. Please make full use of the practice exam as it will definitely help you in the actual exam. Now that you're familiar with the practice exam, let's quickly review some of the questions from the practice exam. Alright, our first question is, you have a project using BigQuery and you want to list all BigQuery jobs for that project. You want to set this project as the default for the BQ command line tool. What should you do? Pause the video and take a few seconds to review the options. It's very tempting to select option B as that pretty much sounds right, but the correct answer is A. Use gcloud config set project command to set the default project. Alright, second question now. Your company processes high volumes of IoT data that are time stamped. The total data volume can be several petabytes, and the data needs to be written and changed at a high speed. You want to use the most performant storage option for your data. Which solution should you choose? Now, pause the video and take a few seconds to review the options. Let's take a quick look at the question itself. It states that the volume of data is in petabytes, and that leaves us with just two options: BigQuery or Bigtable. Observe that we are talking about time-stamped IoT data, and for that reason, Bigtable is the right answer. Third question now. Your application has a large international audience and runs stateless virtual machines within a managed instance group across multiple locations. One feature of the application lets users upload files and share them with other users. Files must be available for 30 days, and after that, they are removed from the system completely. Which storage solution should you choose? Now, this is tricky, but let's take a closer look at the question itself. The application is catering to a global audience, and the data stored is in the form of files. Files are nothing but object data, and for that reason, multi regional bucket is the right option. Google Cloud Storage also comes with lifecycle management policy, and hence the requirement of moving data after 30 days will also work. Alright, last one now. You want to find out who in your organization has owner access to a project called My Project. What should you do? Now, this one seems easy but can be a little tricky. Option A and C are pretty similar but not the same. Remember, your job is to identify the owner of the project, and for that reason, you will choose option C. Please make use of the practice test as much as possible to get an understanding of what kind of questions you can expect in the actual certification exam. And once you have gone through all the resources and are confident to take the exam, it's time now to schedule the exam. Now, the scheduling process is pretty straightforward. Let's take a look. As a first step, navigate to cloud.google.com/certification/cloud-engineer page. Once you're on the Associate Cloud Engineer certification page, click on Register to initiate the registration process. Select the preferred language in which you would like to schedule your exam. This will take you directly to the Google Cloud WebAssessor account login page. If you don't have a WebAssessor account, create one first. And once you register, enter your credentials to log into the WebAssessor account. Once you're logged in, on the home page, click on Register for an exam. Since we are interested in taking up the Associate Cloud Engineer certification, go ahead and expand this section. Now, as you can see, you have two options here. You can either select the on-site proctored exam or the remote proctored exam. As an example, let me click on Buy Now under the on-site proctored exam section. Now, based on your geographical location, you will be shown a list of authorized test centers. Select the one that's convenient for you, and at the bottom of the page, click on Select. On this page, you will be asked to select a particular date and time on which you would like to schedule an exam. Please review the guidelines mentioned here thoroughly, and if you agree to the terms of service, click on I acknowledge option and hit select at the bottom of the page. On this page, review all your details once again. If you have a coupon code, you can enter it now and click on apply. If you're enrolled in the Google Cloud Career Readiness Program, you can avail an amazing discount on the exam fee as well. Please reach out to your faculty member today for this information. Once you've reviewed all the details and if everything looks good, Click on checkout to enter the payment details and schedule your exam. One thing to note, if you have selected the online proctored exam, you have a couple of additional steps to perform after the payment is completed. Click on My Assessments to install the Sentinel software and enroll yourself in biometrics before the exam. And if at any stage you run into issues, please reach out to us immediately. I'll discuss how you can get help in just a few minutes. Few points to keep in mind regarding your exam. You can take the exam online or schedule your exam at a criterion authorized test center. Register early as the test center availability is limited. The duration of each exam is 2 hours and exam questions are multiple choice and or multiple select. When answering, there might be several options that seem correct, but there is only one option that satisfies both technical and business requirements. Choose the best, even if the others might work. We are testing for Google best practices. You can go back and review earlier questions at any time during the exam as well. Paper, pens, or pencils are not allowed during testing. And if you're stuck at any stage, please reach out to us for help. You can reach out to us directly via support.google.com/cloud-certification page. We know that you might have a lot of questions while preparing or after signing up for the exam. So please make use of a cloud certifications support channel. Most of the frequently asked questions have already been answered here. But if you think that your query is not listed here, then simply raise a support ticket using the Contact Us section. And that marks the end of the video. I hope you learned something new today and I wish you all the best for your certification exam. Good luck.